We could be. We could be going live.
I think we're live.
You think? You mean we're live with our brand new camera and brand new audio and
brand new switching stuff that we're going to screw up horribly in today's live stream? We're going to press a button. It's going to be, meanwhile, in Tajikistan. Hi, everybody. It's Mike Meyers.
And Scott Jernigan.
And it's the Monday edition of the Mike Meyers CompTIA Ask Mike Anything live stream. The goal of this live stream is to provide those of us who are isolated by the coronavirus an opportunity to continue our studies on CompTIA certifications. So what do we concentrate on? A+, Net+, Security+.
IT Fundamentals.
IT Fundamentals. You know, I always want to say INET+. Does that ring a bell to you?
No.
It was a CompTIA certification that didn't go too far.
Yeah, well, kind of like Server Plus. Oh!
RFID+. I wrote a book on RFID+. 4 people read it. And
Bestseller.
2 of those I was related to. So hi everybody and welcome aboard. So we start here at 2 o'clock and we run until 4 o'clock or until the questions run out. So basically, here's how this works. You ask me questions and I answer them. The best way to ask questions is to go into the live chat. Whoops.
Yeah, I might flip the top chat.
I'm going to pop out my chat so I too can read the chat.
There we go.
And just type your questions into the chat, or if you're the shy type person, here we go, Scott, I'm going to try to do this.
You're going to do it?
I'm going to do it. So if you want to, you can also contact me this way. It's Mike Meyers, michaelm@totalsim.com. You can just send me an email with your questions in it. If you're a gamer, I am Senor Pepe. Otherwise, you can just type in DesWeds at just about anything, and it will get back to me. So so you need to ask me questions. So you ask questions either by typing them into the chat window, and if I don't know the answer, and I often don't, we got plenty of great techs around here. Always glad to help out. Scott's here. Is Dave Rush with us today?
Dave Rush is with us.
Dave Rush. And
we even have Michael Smyer in the studio.
Yeah, we have Michael. Yeah, because we have so much new hardware here. I'm like, Michael Smyer has to stay here until we know that we haven't blown everything up.
For the viewers to live chat.
What?
Live chat.
What about it?
And when you popped it out, it popped back to top chat.
Okay. So one thing that is very important is that in that chat window, it can either be in live chat or in top chat. So you definitely want to switch that to live chat because I'll get behind on questions and we'll use those timestamps to help figure out the questions you've asked. If I ask a question and I don't answer it, just ask it again. It's no big deal. We'll get to it.
You can toggle the timestamp on by clicking the 3 little dots and turning it on. What?
God, just too bad this is a children's program, you know?
Just click. What do you want me to do, dear? Click the 3 dots.
Harder. Okay, now stop.
Stop.
Just stop.
Stop.
A little
Okay.
decorum here, sir.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, we got all kinds of new toys now. We got hardware mixers and we've got audio mixers and
Don't touch anything.
I know I started picking that up and it's like it made the smoke come out. Oh no.
And a new camera. So
yeah, this is an older camera that I used to use all the time. It's like 3 years old, but it's a nice little Canon semi-pro. How does that sound?
Right.
And yeah, so we're all strapped up and ready to go and ready to answer your questions. So I'm assuming we look better. Really?
They said
really,
yes.
Scott? I
Yes.
just threw that in there, and you did not throw.
We look great, Mike.
Okay, well, I was going to say, Mike, it doesn't take much to make you look better. But no, you're the king of diplomacy.
And yeah, tell it is the ATEM Mini Pro. Is our new hardware.
He actually knows what these things are.
Yes, he does.
It's the expensive black box with the mini lights that I don't know how to use yet. But I got my coffee. So anyway, who do we got here? Jose Braden's in. Did you see that?
You did. I saw that. Hey, Jose. Good to see you.
All right. Usual wacky crowd here. Jason, Alan, Tolowit, Jason. CLW Chang's here again. Nigel. Man, Nigel was gone for a while, wasn't he?
No. Nigel's a lifer.
Zach's here early, too. Look at this.
Yeah.
Andre, of course, is here. Do you remember an old children's show called Romper Room?
Yes.
So you guys don't have to remember this, okay? But go on YouTube and look up Romper Room Magic Mirror. It's a children's show. Trust me, it's okay, all right? And she would sit there and she'd hold the magic mirror, which is basically a mirror that there was nothing in there. You could put your hand through it.
Yeah.
And so she's staring at the camera and she'd be like, I see Tolowit and Jason and Nigel and,
Yeah.
Good times. I do have a presentation today on load balancing. I'd love to wait until Alex gets on, but, she's Italian. She shows up when she wants to, smoking a cigarette and with an attitude, talking with her hands.
Yeah, I can just see her doing that.
Well, she's Italian. Tragic Stan. All right. So anyway, guys, let's go ahead. We're going to start scrolling through. So you guys, I stay on until it's 4 o'clock or until the questions are answered. So do keep in mind that it's...
already quite a few questions. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't you get us started, Scott? Because I'm not paying attention. And Obi-Wan, that's a new name. Obi-Wan. Crazy Homebody Girl's here. Sorry, just like seniors. Jean Doridal.
Okay, so at 2:01, Nerf Oreos asks the $1 million question. I'm taking the 1001 tomorrow. Help. You're going to have to get a lot more specific than that.
Well, I mean, we take, okay, number one, Nerf Oreos, be cool. The number one reason people fail CompTIA certifications exams is test anxiety, so take it easy. Look, the worst thing that happens if you fail, you just retake it. Yeah, so there's some money involved, there's time involved, but it's not an SAT, okay? So you can just retake it, and it's not that big of a deal. So be cool, all right? That's really the most important thing I can tell you, especially if it's tomorrow. And good luck to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I could tell you if you'd have said it's a week from now. But it's a day away, Scott.
And it's pretty much it's time to chill and...
You got this, man.
Yeah, rah-rah.
Rickety, rickety, ree. Kick him in the...
Knee.
Rickety, rickety, rass.
Kick him in the other knee.
There you go. All right.
Oh, my gosh.
How old is that?
I
don't know. I heard a puff of dust come out of my mouth when I told that joke. So we have all these questions, you claim.
Hold on, I'm getting there. Tolowit's asking, of course, about our ATEM Mini Pro settings, and
Tolowit, you can save that for the Discord after this.
be happy to go through it all.
Oh crap! No, I gotta inject something. All right, so guys, I'm just throwing this out. I have not been gaming really for a while, and I think it would be fun to get a World of Warcraft, what did you call it, guild?
Yes.
A guild.
Does anybody still play World of Warcraft or World of Warcraft Classic?
It'd be World of Warcraft Classic. I want to play Classic. So if there's any World of Warcraft players out there, and you want to play WoW Classic, and you're not against playing Alliance, oh God, could I do, not with Classic, I don't want to do Horde playing Classic.
We never played Horde.
Not,
It would be
well,
something
with Classic,
different.
it's a pain in the rear end. It's a lot harder to play Horde than Alliance. We'll talk on the Discord channel. So first of all, guys, be aware that there is a Discord channel associated with this AMA. The Discord channel, Scott hasn't already cut and pasted this time, right? Really? This is 4 weeks now.
Dave can.
Dave can.
Dave will post.
All right.
the
So
Discord
my buddy Jose Braden, who's actually on right now, has set up a Discord channel. It's not mine. It's not Scott. It's not Total Seminars. Jose allows a more adult, saltier theme, which I agree with, by the way. But it's a great channel. Let me know if somebody posted up there for you.
I will.
Okay. And so it's a great place to show up. I'll be there this afternoon. The Discord channel is obviously on 24/7, but it tends to spike immediately after any of these AMAs. So my Monday and Wednesday and Dave Rush on Friday, there tends to be a spike on that. And you guys are please jump in. Anyway, I want to find, if we can get like 5 or 6 people together, I want to make a guild. Let's just...
Or you can just join my guild.
No, I see, because, well, we'll see where everybody's at. If like even one person is like, I've never played World of Warcraft and I want to try it and I'll honestly give it a try, then I would say let's start from scratch. We'll talk. Keep that in mind, guys, while we're working.
Start with little level 1 gnomes.
Level 1, whatevers. And then, let's all meet at level 5 and I was going to say Calethan. Oh my gosh.
And for those of you who are not paying attention, the second classic expansion, Burning Crusade, is coming out June 1st.
World of Warcraft was so much fun. They're basically starting over again from the beginning, like it's 2004 again, and they have this thing called World of Warcraft Classic. It's like Coke Classic.
Better than New Coke. A lot better.
But it's actually exactly the same, kind of, but not. Anyway, so for people like us who used to play World of Warcraft back in the day, it is a wonderful trip down memory lane, and I would like to do that. I'm sure we could talk Scott into it, and get a fun little guild going again. I'm done talking. Go ahead, Scott. You're up.
Okay, so Andrew Hutz asked at
Okay, that was a joke.
At 2:04. This is a serious question.
Okay.
Mike, do we need to know the ins and outs of cracking WEP, WPA, WPS for the Security Plus, or do we just need to be familiar with it conceptually?
You just need to be familiar with it conceptually.
Right. You don't need to do any cracking until you get to pen testing.
Well, but the thing is if you already have Kali Linux, as long as you've got some kind of USB based, or it doesn't have to be USB based if you got the right kind of chipset, if you have the right kind of wireless NIC, cracking WEP, WPA, WPA2 is WPS even. There's tools that are built into Kali that do that for you. You do not have to, there's not going to be a Security Plus question that says, how exactly does WPA nonce handshaking DAuth attack work? You're not going to get that. But you should just be basically aware that there are some weaknesses to it.
Right.
You should be able to say things like a DAuth attack, even if you've never done one yourself.
Absolutely. So Dave Rush mentioned, several people have mentioned the matching shirts. That was purely by accident.
What you wearing?
Blue. Light blue or dark blue?
You put that hair on again, though, too.
I did. Couldn't help it, man.
I'm telling you, they would like the bald look, Scott. Be proud of who you are. He joined the Hair Club for Men just because he wanted to be president.
That's right. This, all artificially regrown.
All the girls literally online are like, please, no. Tell us it's real hair.
It's real. Ow. Why'd you pull my hair?
It's my voodoo doll.
All right, so here's another question. You ready?
Yes.
At 2:04, Dennis Dombrowski.
Good Irish name.
Absolutely. Just out of curiosity, I'm wanting to take Security Plus and want to know when you are going to have the new 601 course ready. We have an update. Also, thank you for all your help.
Book's been out now for over a month.
Yep.
So the Mike Meyers, Scott Jernigan, it's the only book that Scott Jernigan and I are officially co-authors.
No, ITF Plus.
Yeah, they kind of just put my name on it.
That's true.
Yeah. But Scott and I really do both write the Security Plus book, which is very cool. That's out now. You can pick it up at Amazon. The videos, if they're not out, they've got to be really close.
They're very close. They finished filming. The 601 series stars both Mike and another SME named Dan Lachance. He's Canadian.
Take off, you hoser.
Yeah.
Dan's actually, he's like the most Canadian guy you ever met.
Really? He wears a toque?
Well, no, but he's like super nice. You know?
You mean that kind of Canadian?
Yeah, he's courteous. Oh, I'm sorry. You know,
not like the Montreal Canadians where it's like, yes, and we smoke in church.
we smoke jetons. You stinking American pig dog cat person. Hey, well, those soup eaters, it's how they go. That was a movie, John Candy. Anyway, stop! Better drink some more of your coffee there, Scott.
Oh, yeah, I'm drinking my coffee.
No. Go ahead.
Fine.
Dan has done an amazing job. He's a great technician and wonderful presentation style. I'm still in this video series. I shot a bunch of it, but, I've wanted somebody else start picking up Security Plus. And Dan, when he came along, he's just so good. Get the videos. We got them on the hub. We've probably got them distributed. I know they're probably out to Udemy now. We should check that.
They're not
They're not out yet?
No.
But we're talking days, folks.
Yeah.
Don't no more than that.
So
the
that should answer
and
your
what about
question,
practice
Dennis.
questions? I don't know.
We have practice questions out already.
All right, so we also have practice. So remember, for me, and who asked this question? Dennis?
Dennis.
So Dennis, to me, everybody needs 3 things to pass any certification, not just CompTIA. You need a book, you need videos, and you need practice questions. So then I would say it's out, if that's there. Yeah.
So 204, Jason Helms. What's the difference between the resolution and aspect ratio? And can you explain examples?
Sure. Well,
Okay.
the problem with
I certainly can.
you can
Can.
do it. You never answer tech questions.
I know, right?
Go for it. I'll help you when you mess up. Here, let me hold you. Go, Scott. Answer the questions for everybody.
The resolution is how many pixels wide by how many pixels tall. So the more resolution you have, the finer grain the picture is essentially. So you get there's a difference between, say, 720p, which is what, 1024 by 720? No, it's 1080p. I don't even know what 720p is anymore.
Oh, the horizontal resolution for 720?
I don't know,
either.
whatever. So 1080p, we'll go with that. 1080 by across by 720 down. The difference between that and jumping up to, say, a 4K monitor, which is what, 3,800 something pixels across by a whole bunch of pixels up, the difference is astonishing. Just in how
3840 by, I can't believe I can't do this in my head. 3840 by 2160. That can't be right. I can do.
I'm sure Dave is going to post here in our back channel with the right answers.
So
and
1080p.
then I'll say it and go, Mike, of course it's.
So you got to be careful with saying 1080p, since we're actually asking what's the difference between resolution versus aspect ratio. When we talk about resolution, we should always talk about both numbers.
Right.
All right.
That's true.
So like 1920 by 1080 is
That's 1080p.
is often known as 1080p, but the resolution is 1920 by 1080, which makes an aspect ratio of
16 by 9.
That's right. So the aspect ratio is the ratio of the width to the height.
Right. So the typical things you're going to see would be 16 by 9 is a very widescreen kind of cinematic look. 16 by 10 is slightly higher, right? It's got a little more height, so you get more. What's Michael's favorite word for it? Chrome. In other words, you can see more of the aspects of Windows or Mac OS for that matter, or Linux. And then you also get like ultra wide aspect ratios, and those are the really expanded things.
Well, like the original ratio for dang near everything was 4 by 3.
Right.
Was an aspect ratio, which came from the old NTSC television. And with that was, oh, good Lord. Let's just go with VGA, which would be 1024 by 768 at 4 by 3, which really sustained us for a long time in the computer industry. And, it wasn't until much later we started to get wider stuff.
VGA was 640 by 480.
640 by 480.
Right.
You're absolutely right. See how well we've got these memorized?
See, we have them memorized when we go to class. All these numbers.
Or just before the exam. It's okay. So 4 by 3 aspect ratio is the,
almost square.
almost squarish looking one, the old time.
So, by the way, just wanted to let you know that you were right on the 4K resolution. 3840 by 2160.
I did say it right. Okay.
You did.
All right. So anyway, so we did 4 by 3 for a long time, and then as we began to look towards widescreen, DVDs were coming out, the type of stuff we wanted to play movies more. We started looking towards wider aspect ratios. 16 by 10 was popular back in the day because it's called, Michael, 16 by 10 is the perfect, he's got headphones on. It's the perfect ratio or something like that.
I don't know.
There's some, it's called 16 by 10 is called the perfect ratio. For somebody in Sweden looked it up as the best way to look at it. And then, but then 16 by 9, most of the resolutions we see on screens today is 16 by 9 just because that more typically hits again, if Michael Smyer didn't have his headphone on, he'd name the Panavision or whatever the heck it is for movies, which has become part of the digital standard.
9 is the geometric mean between.
Michael is talking in the background.
So there's a delay. So Michael is hearing us, but on a delay. It's all right. Yeah. Michael, we're okay. We're okay, man. We're okay. Golden ratio. Thank you, Dave Rush. It's the golden ratio is 16:10.
So, Teacher Russell, hi. Yes, you should be wearing Catholic blue shirts, of course.
Catholics wear blue? I thought they wore plaid.
I thought they wore white, but that's just me.
That's just for catechism.
Oh.
I'm making that word up. I know there is a Catholic thing called catechism, which is like church school.
Yes.
That's all I really know.
That's right. So at 2:05, Edwin said, I started with Pen Test Plus, and I just wanted to say that Dr. Michael Solomon is awesome.
He's great. Michael Solomon's an amazing instructor.
Michael does not live anywhere near us.
But he wishes he did.
So we might be able to get him as a guest on the show via Zoom or
Oh
something.
my gosh! Nothing, go ahead.
Okay, I'm going.
I just realized something I forgot to do. You said guest talk. I ain't saying nothing else.
Okay, all right. Blue shirts for all. How about at 2:06, Andrew Hutz asks, are WIDs, W-I-D-S, primarily for enterprise use, or are there WIDs for home networks as well?
I mean, normally I would instantly say enterprise level networks, but there is some rudimentary wireless intrusion that you can get on home routers these days. The big concern, more than anything else, is rogue access points. So instead of doing a big port security thing like you would see in a Cisco enterprise type environment, a lot of these actually do have very rudimentary reporting logging systems saying, oh, there's another DHCP server out there. And since most of the rogue problems come in via wireless, those are out there. Acer routers have something, the 802.11ax's. So I wouldn't call it full-blown WIDS, but it is something. I mean, it's...
Right.
Okay, granted, a rogue access point does not necessarily mean an intrusion, but it ain't good.
Right.
But it's not nearly the sophistication of a complete WIDS type solution that you'd see on an enterprise type setup.
So Andre finished at the range, and we'll see us in 30 minutes. And considering that was almost 30 minutes ago that he posted, it's almost time to say hi again.
He's done at the range. Well, he's been doing a lot of cooking lately. You know?
Yes, exactly. So, okay, CLW Chang. I'll take it. If you could choose gorilla or tiger, which would you choose and why?
What is the...
He's just it's an ask me anything, and CLW Chang is asking you anything.
A gorilla or tiger for what reason? I mean, yipe.
Gorilla, because a gorilla is more intelligent, and as long as you know how to behave around gorillas, as we see with all the crazy documentaries, you can actually hang out with a gorilla. Tiger, he'll just eat you.
Well, that's the thing, but the tiger would get rid of all the excess dogs and cats in the neighborhood.
And we just had a tiger roaming the streets in Houston last week.
Yeah, we did.
That's just somebody's pet tiger. And they're like, oh, he's tame. I'm like, you can't tame a tiger.
You can feed him and he'll act tame.
Siegfried and Roy, man.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
So the other thing in Houston, you know, we've got a parrot problem.
Really?
Yeah. No, seriously, this isn't a joke. Houston is overrun with pet parakeets and cockatiels and what are those big blue parrots? Macaws? They're flying around wild. They're up in your neighborhood, up in the Heights. I'm serious as a heart attack. There is no punchline here.
Oh, man.
Wild birds.
Do they speak?
Yeah, but they say terrible things like, hey, mama, what you doing, baby? It's really embarrassing. They wear little construction hats. Okay, that part's not true, but we really do. Little builder vests. Yeah, so no, it's warm here, so the birds can survive. And something about the freeze did something. I don't know. I don't actually read the articles. I just look at the pictures. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah,
I like leaving you in that.
We're sponsored by Ralph Lauren. At least I am.
Yeah, if they want me to advertise their clothes, they can pay me.
There you go. Nerf Oreos watched your videos.
He did?
Yep.
And?
He says thanks.
You're
Good
welcome.
luck tomorrow. Idris Ashim at 208 said,
Idris has been around before. Hey, Idris, good to see you again, man.
I'm now a CompTIA IT operations specialist. Thanks to you. Excellent. Yay. But my long-term goal is to become a data or cloud engineer. Any advice?
Yeah, go start picking up AWS certifications.
Right. Absolutely. The AWS is speaking of gorillas, the 800-pound gorilla in the cloud right now. So
Yeah, and IBM Cloud Cert, Azure, how do you pronounce that word?
Azure.
Azure certs are also pretty popular, but yeah. Amazon, I've got to tell you right now, if you're in the United States for sure, you don't need any certifications to get data center jobs with Amazon. Of course, Amazon is also getting a pretty bad rep out there, you know.
Yeah.
You know, people having to pee in bottles, good God. Did you hear about this?
Oh yeah. No, I did. Their fulfillment centers are.
But they're paying $17, $18 an hour for start.
Yeah, but I'm saying, you know, the working conditions are not good.
Yeah, but you work at 6 months to get a little something under your belt, you know?
And then you quit and go do a better job.
Where somebody makes you work, I don't know, 40 hours a week?
Right. When was the last time you worked 40 hours a week?
1991?
I know. Like, you mean before you
So
start,
I'm either working 60 hours a week, as you well know, Scott. I'm either working 60 hours a week or I'm working 0 hours.
There you go.
You know, and I'm drinking something with an umbrella in it.
Lots of people chimed in. We're just now getting to the point where you were talking about World of Warcraft, and a whole bunch of people have chimed in and said, yes, classic.
All right,
Lion.
so guys, I don't want to sidetrack the AMA on this because I want to get to everybody's questions. We also have a demo today on load balancing, and obviously I want to give away some practice questions. If you're interested in joining into a World of Warcraft thing with me, would you be willing to join into?
Yes.
Okay. Now, this isn't free, guys. World of Warcraft, it's like $15 a month.
It's less than that, but
It's $10 a month. I think it'd be a lot of fun. I need to get back to gaming. I'm just doing stupid casual games.
I never left it.
I'm
Mike.
taking 3 dragons and pulling them together and making one bigger dragon. It's
That's
called
terrifying.
Merge Dragon. That's like my hot game right now. I need help. I need help, friends. All right, dude.
Yeah, yes, you do, Mike. Wow. Wow, you could be playing 3D poker.
I need a game. Hey,
All right.
that's a new face, April Heather Cunningham.
Yeah, sure, at 209. Hello, question time, Q1. Oh, wow, okay. Just a couple of questions here.
Sure.
Does a computer patch change your original cache?
All right, so April, what cache are we talking about here? Well, I can answer that anyway. I don't care what patching you have at what level. Probably, I guess we're talking about an operating system patch, right?
Right.
More probably than anything else. Does a computer patch change your original cache?
So cache, let's be
Hang
sure.
on. Answer her next question. That might help.
Okay, question number 2 is cache solely inside the CPU?
Now we know what you're talking about. You're talking about a CPU cache. So inside every CPU is a super high speed SRAM that helps do lots of good things. Does a computer patch change your original cache? No, those are physical things built into the thing. It's like saying
Physical pieces of memory built into the CPU.
yes. That's what I said. All right. We actually missed an Andrew Hutt's question.
We'll get back to it.
Let's finish April here. April Heather Cunningham, AHC. Is cache solely inside the CPU? Well, the CPU cache is solely inside the CPU. I mean, a billion years ago, if you went back more than 30 years ago, you used to see SRAM, which was actually stamped on the motherboards, but it's been built into CPUs for a long, long time. Insight, my Windows 10 system has a patch due to Microsoft scam, only 2 levels 2 with megabyte.
Motherboard? I would think motherboard.
Is there something out right now with is there an exploit out there that's messing with caches on CPUs?
Not that I know of.
Not that I know of either.
So modern CPUs have 1, 2, or 2 or 3 different levels of cache.
They almost all have 3 now.
Yeah.
It's very rare to see them.
And they're called L1, L2, and L3. Go figure. And L1 is the super fast, L2 is not quite as fast, and the medium fast, right?
L1 tends to run at the actual system speed of the CPU internal. L2 tends to run at half of that, and L3 is just above the motherboard speed, or whatever the motherboard multiplier is. You don't like that answer?
I don't like that answer, but that's okay.
Okay.
So, and also, of course, there are plenty of other aspects of modern computers that use cache. So the operating system will reserve parts of RAM for caching, for example. But caching, because it's all volatile memory, it just goes away when you turn off the computer.
You have DNS caching. Like if you do a DNS resolution, it'll keep your fully qualified domain name and associated IP address
and those
for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
On a network, if you ARP another system, you're going to have an ARP cache for a while. There's many caches. But April, I think we understand where you're coming from. I don't think we have fully answered your question. So April, what you do now is you ask it again a little bit different based on the information we've given you so far.
Okay.
That's how it works here, and that's okay.
All right, so let's go back. Let's go to Andrew's question
Yes,
then
yes.
at 209.
Yes, yes.
Andrew Hutz asked, Mike, could you go over the uses for IPsec? I know VPNs are one, but what are some other scenarios in which you might run across it? And consider he's studying for Security Plus.
I'm unaware of IPsec actually being used any place other than VPNs. I don't know of any other place. That's almost one where I'd almost kind of like to do some instant R&D.
While you're doing that, I'll look for another question. Thank you, Dave, for posting the Discord link. Dave posted it at 209. Those of you who would like to join, that's the semi-permanent link to the unofficial Total Seminars Discord channel, owned and operated by our friend Jose Braden, and a cast of thousands. We're actually up to 200-300 people there actively, and people ask questions all the time in the tech channels, and the various really good techs are there to answer. It's asynchronous, right? Just like a lot of these things, so your question will have a delay of some time, or it could just be instant, almost instant, depending on who's online.
Yeah, it depends who's on the Discord channel at any given moment. Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so I'm ready to answer Andrew Hutz's thing.
Okay.
The main use for IPsec is for VPNs. I could not, even after a quick 12-second R&D, or find other places where IPsec was used. IPsec certainly has the capability of being used. I mean, anytime you need a tunnel, IPsec does a perfectly good job. When we think about tunneling, we tend to think about VPNs more than anything else. But there could be other places it would be used. In fact, the goal of IPsec was to provide layer 3 security, which didn't exist. If IPsec had been invented at the beginning of the internet, we wouldn't need other protocols like HTTPS and SFTP and things like that, because every connection would be encrypted without exception. That never happened, because IPsec's a pain in the rear end to get everybody working on.
That's true.
Yeah.
So at 212, a lot of people talking about WoW in between the 209 and 212. John Lee, hi guys, passed my A+ exam back in March. You used your book. Congratulations, John.
Well done.
That's awesome.
It's J-H-O-N. It's Jahan. Pronounce it right. Get a job, wordsmith.
What, does this mean you're going to fire me because I mispronounced his name?
Jetson, let me see you the way you are now. Fired. Oh, we are matchy, aren't we? Oof.
Yep, we are. And yeah, Michael Meyers answering a bunch of questions in the background as the Total Seminars channel. So there you go. But it's all the technical questions about the A10 Pro and our new
Excellent. Yes.
audio video setup.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate you helping us out with those things because Tolowit's a pain in the rear end.
Thank you, Dave. Yes, Gorilla tastes better.
2:13 p.m. U4 Raymond. Does all IPv6 communication use IPsec? No, it doesn't. When IPv6 was first being built up, and we got to go back to early 2000s, close to 20 years ago, there was a real strong push to bring IPsec in. And if you read the wording of IPv6 back in the day, they made it sound like IPsec was going to be a requirement.
Right.
The problem is that if you do IPsec as a requirement, all of our already in existence, perfectly good, secure protocols become weird and unnecessary, but it's not like you can just unplug them. So there was a lot of pushback, primarily from the web people. Also, IPsec, when you're just trying to connect one VPN user to a VPN endpoint, IPsec's not that terribly hard to configure. When you're trying to connect everybody to everything at all times, that became a different animal. Right. So the answer is IPsec is not required for IPv6. They have dumped that attitude, and I have never once in the real world seen IPsec running with IPv6 except within a VPN.
Okay. So 2:13. Hopefully that answered your question well enough. At 2:13 p.m., Chris Gomez asks, what is the probability I'll get asked a question about a port number and the process service that's used for it on the 1001?
100%. Right? Yes. Yeah, absolutely. There's not a whole lot of port numbers with associated protocols. But the thing, Chris, that I always tell people, and everybody's like, oh, I need to have a list of all the protocols so I can memorize them. No, not really. But on the A+, yeah, you could probably get away with that because it's pretty simplistic about what they're asking for.
Just look at the objectives and see, they'll list the port numbers that they're going to ask.
And if you're using my books, we list them in there. Yeah, we do it for A+ too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we list them in there as well. So it's not a matter, there are some A+ questions that'll say FTP uses port, blah, 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 right? But that the only place you would see that would be on the A+. So the answer is yes.
Right. Should I study them as much as possible? No, memorize a few of them and move on. Because A+ is so big that there's a lot of other things, and if you miss one port question, but you get 20 other questions right, you'll pass.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. But Chris, you got to remember, for any CompTIA certification, they're all pretty broad. And a big mistake anybody's going to make with study is to find themselves obsessing with one particular topic area. And you don't want to do that. Just keep it spread out. And D for diploma, man. Don't. When you take any certification exam, if you don't have one or two questions that you're like, I have no idea, then I'm making a mistake. I mean, literally, I'm making a mistake. Because you can't cover everything.
Right.
I mean, you can, but it becomes unrealistic, or you have eidetic memory.
So the reason that our camera looks so much...
Furthermore, no, go ahead.
The reason that our camera looks so much better on this live stream than in any previous live stream is because we switched cameras.
Yeah, we kicked the camera quality up. We've gone from the little potato cameras, which it's a fine camera, Logitech's.
Great for those Zoom meetings.
It is great for the Zoom meetings, actually. But we've moved up to a big Canon semi-pro camera.
With a fine fixed...
Tooth comb.
Fixed lens. And...
it's a very big lens.
It's a very big lens.
It goes
yeah.
Like that.
Just like that?
Well, it doesn't make the sound. It's more like...
So Andrew Hutz, right?
I know him.
He's working on his Security Plus. I've been working on my first CTF for pen testing, and so far I've already gotten to spend time with Nmap, great program.
And a program you should know.
A web app vulnerability scanner, Metasploit, also a great program, and home-coded port scanner. Is this awesome?
Yes, Andrew.
It's awesome.
It's awesome.
That's very cool.
Awesome. You know what, Andrew? I'm going to let you join my World of Warcraft guild.
Just for that.
I got it. Sucking chest wound. For the guild name?
How about port numbers?
Oh, God. A port in any storm. Oh, my goodness. That almost works.
We could almost go portmanteau.
I've got chest pains. Portmanteau. That could be it, Scoot.
It could be. All right, so CLW Chang at 2:15. We are quite a ways behind.
It's because you keep talking.
What is the purpose of
You keep interrupting me.
What is the purpose of a protocol number? Is it like a port number in that it actually uses a port and components, or is it an identifier?
I'm not familiar with a protocol number, and that's certainly nothing I've ever said. Protocols have port numbers, right?
Right.
So CLW Chang, I'm not familiar with the term protocol number. I always hate saying that because I'll say, well, I have no idea what protocol number means. And it'll be like, well, on page 237 of your book.
You use the term protocol number.
Yeah, it's port number.
Yes. What else we got here? Okay, Michael and Tullowit are talking
Let them talk.
about all their stuff.
Let them
And
talk away.
219, Andrew. Mike, do containers in Docker or Kubernetes have any major security risks for the host system, or are they kind of like VMs where they appear to be separate from the host?
I know Michael Smyer would have a heart attack for me saying this, but they are kind of like VMs in that they are separated from the host. I mean, in order to run a container, you're going to have to run some program like Docker or whatever it might be to run them, right? So just as in order to run a virtual machine, you have to run VMware or VirtualBox or whatever it might be. So I'm a lot more comfortable with vulnerabilities on virtual machines than I am on containers. But given that there are a few vulnerabilities on virtual machines, I don't see why we couldn't have a vulnerability in a container object, which would allow me to transcend and get to the actual operating system, just as we have certain vulnerabilities that allow us to get past the virtual machine and into the actual computer. But I don't know them off the top of my head. So
Okay.
I don't know is the right answer. God bless it. Yes, Andrew Hutz, but I'm not saying anything else. And I don't owe you $100. No, I don't. This is an inside joke between me and Andrew Hutz. God bless it. I totally...
So April clarified, by the way,
I knew.
level 1, level 2. So yeah, you answered just right.
Yeah.
Excellent. Chaco Taco, thank you for confirming our knowledge of a religious subject. And Teacher Russell, one of my schools did wear white shirts and the other wore blue. So there you go. But no plaid?
Well, you have that plaid skirt on.
That's true, and my little white socks.
You look good.
Thank you.
I could go so much further with that.
But
I'm not going to.
Yeah, no, this is a family-rated show
Andrew
here.
Hutz is a man of great morality and doesn't appreciate those things, Scott.
you
So
know.
just stop.
Right? Teacher Russell at 222. Why do firewall settings on PCs and routers sometimes offer denial of service protection as an option and not by default? When would that not be something you want?
So denial of service protection on individual home routers is not something I have seen a lot. I have seen it. I can't say with absolute certainty, so I'm going to give you my speculation. You wouldn't want, I would not want to use denial of service protection on a home router because it would eat up a lot of the bandwidth of the router, would be my quick guess. Also, denial of service protection, keep in mind on most home routers, right, you have a NAT and everything where you're not running servers. So denial of service has to have a server as a target. I guess it could conceivably, I've never heard of an attack like this on a home environment where somebody just wants to attack your router and prevent you from getting out on the internet by making a mess on your router. I guess that could happen. I've never seen it. So that would probably be the reason, is because the vast majority of people don't need it for home. I've never seen a DOS attack on an individual WAN side of a router. And on top of that, what would you attack? I mean, you would literally, it's not like you can use malformed HTTP packets, right? Because there's no HTTP server.
Right.
That little home router is going to be looking at incoming IP addresses more than anything else. Yeah, because I don't think you'd need it. That's why.
So apparently today's Ask Me Anything is going to be animal-based or creature-based. So at 24, here's your next animal question. Would you rather fight one horse-sized duck
oh, God.
or 100 duck-sized horses? I have an answer.
What weapon do I get?
That's the answer. Yeah, no, one
you get a
horse,
fly swatter and a large piece of cheese.
one horse-sized duck, just one shot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, easy.
And you can eat for a week on that.
Right?
I mean, I've eaten horse. It's like, Did I like it? No.
All right, Jason has a computer question. How does share permissions differ from NTFS permissions?
Oh, okay. So share permissions are actually very old-fashioned, and they predate Windows. It actually goes back to a product from the late 80s called Microsoft LAN Manager, and it was kept because Windows for Workgroup was basically Windows with built-in Microsoft LAN Manager. So you got to keep in mind the first generation of network operating systems simply just didn't provide any real protection at all. If you could get in, you were on. If you could log in, you were on. There was no granularity. So Windows for Workgroups provided share permissions where if you open up a share on your machine, you want to open up your Word document folder or whatever it is to share with others, you could set it to read-only or full, which they could do anything they wanted. Keep in mind that this was not individual-based. I could set it for the resource itself, but I couldn't set it for Scott Jernigan when he logged in. So NTFS, when it came out in the early 90s, was designed to fix a lot of these issues. You guys got to remember that NTFS went toe-to-toe with a very powerful networking product of the 80s and 90s called Novell NetWare. And Novell NetWare had these NTFS-like permissions. Now, obviously, they weren't running NTFS. They had their own operating system. And Microsoft recognized the power and the utility of Novell NetWare's permissions system. In fact, they called it rights, I think.
Yeah.
And a big part of the sales pitch of NTFS to get it where people would stop using Novell NetWare and use NTFS was these highly granular user account-based permissions, authorization. You know, you get authenticated, that's great, but then to be authorized in terms of what you could do at a very granular, literally file-by-file basis. And that's what put NTFS on the map, which again put Windows NT on the map, and which is why we're not running Novell NetWare right now. I could literally argue that NTFS was the main thing that Microsoft used to kill NetWare, other than IPX and SPX too.
Well,
Yipe.
Yeah, and the fact that NetWare. Well,
NetWare was
powerful.
wonderful.
It was powerful.
It was extremely powerful.
Yeah.
I'm using my extremely voice to
You are.
emphasize what I'm saying. So I think that's an answer, yes?
That's awesome.
Let's keep going.
Great. So Nigel mentioned that he's working on his blog, and he'll send you a link when he's done.
I'd be
So there we
glad
go.
to read it, Nigel.
Absolutely. And Telewit confirmed that you were absolutely right. World of Warcraft subscription, $15 a month.
Well, actually, World of Warcraft is a $15 a month chat tool with a free game that goes with it.
Okay, so Andrew has a different
Bow.
question. 231. What are the ramifications for a shift from x86 to ARM-based processors? And then he speculates, it definitely poses some issues for virtualization. Will emulation need to improve to make up that slack? So
I'm not going to say I'm a big ARM person, and I should be. Especially with the M1 and the upcoming M2.
Right.
It's not an area I've done a ton of research on, and I should. The $1 million question is, will Microsoft? This is like a Michael Smyer question. It's so good here. Would Microsoft? I got to be careful how I say this. Windows NT is actually designed to run on multiple platforms. We don't talk about it very much, but Windows NT could run on x86, it could run on PowerPC, it could run on, and it has a layering aspect to it that makes it not that terribly hard to write a version that could run on ARM.
right.
And I don't know. Shoot, Microsoft may already have an ARM-based version of Windows. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure I would have heard of that. But I mean, that's a big part of it, is to port it so that other folks can use it, other than, I don't know how many people want to run Android on their desktop systems, but.
Right. So everything that I've read about the M1, which is the new Apple system on a chip that's running ARM-based processors, so not x86, is that the operating system version, of course, has to be specific for the ARM-based processor, but the emulation that Apple developed for the M1 is apparently just epic. And because the chip itself is so superior to in many aspects is so superior, the entire design of the M1 system, that it'll run native x86 apps like Photoshop better than an x86 processor. So, yeah, I'm sure there's going to be some problems with virtualization and with emulation on some software, but right now, Apple's got it nailed on the big boys. So, but we'll see. I mean, it's new. I'm guessing if Apple's betting on it hard, that it's going to work. That's just my Apple fanboy voice.
Well, they're more than betting. There's no if. Obviously, they are betting on it hard,
They are
right?
betting, yep.
All new Mac Minis are M1, right? No exception.
That's right. The Mac Mini and the MacBook Air.
The MacBook Air too.
Yeah.
So-
They haven't flipped the iMac yet, but that's in the works. So, yeah, they're betting the farm on it. Oh, okay. 231, Bandmate. With the help of Mike's resources, was able to land a great networking job. Yay! Now traveling to big resort hotels and national parks all over the country, was just in the Florida Keys setting up Wi-Fi for a week. Oh yeah, took you a week to set up Wi-Fi, did it? Yeah.
I got to get all this suntan lotion on me so I can put the WAP up. I got to have that golden tan. I love Key West. It's a great area.
I have not been yet.
So they have the dry Tortugas. You can take a boat, and it's like the guy who shot Lincoln, John Wilkes Booth. Mm-hmm. They put him there after. Yeah, so it's this fort.
Oh, they.
John, he's dead now.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm like, what? Wait, what?
1860 what? No, yeah, it's a great area. Great area. A lot of fun. I channel my inner Ernest Hemingway when I go there.
There you go. Okay, what else we got here going? LLAOA.
I'm currently taking cybersecurity as a major in college. Excellent. Bought your A+ CompTIA book. I'm eager for more. Are you done, boys, or are you eager for more? Excellent. Well done, LLAOA.
OAO.
OAO.
Okay, so April followed up with a question. That's my next question. How do you check if the cache is equal to 3 times the clock's multiplier speed?
Well, first of all, it won't be. I mean,
Look
three
at
times.
the spec sheet.
Well, you could, obviously, of course, look at the spec sheet. The downside to looking at the spec sheet for a CPU, Scott, of course, is you're going to have to know exactly what CPU you got. So in order to know what kind of CPU we have, we run
CPU-Z.
So you want to? There's a wonderful program called CPU-Z. CPU-Z is in zebra.
And the company that makes it is called CPUID.
.com.
So there you go.
And it's a free program, and it works great. You can download it, and it will query your CPU, and it will tell you what your base system speed is, what your multiplier is. It'll tell you everything you want to know. It'll show you all 3 levels of cache, assuming you have all levels of 3, quantity, speed, the whole shebang. So, who was that? April. April, get a copy of CPU-Z. In fact, CPU-Z was actually mentioned on one of the A+ objectives. I don't think it's on the 1001 though.
I think Dave will tell us in the background.
Yeah, there used to be. They actually used to have, or maybe it was in the list of tools that CompTIA, and it may still be there. It's a very, very powerful tool. You should have a copy of it. Grab it and throw it on a thumb drive.
So,
Keisha Green, my Keisha. Do you think employers or hiring managers really consider hands-on labs as your only experience something to call you in for an interview? Sure, especially if it's a true entry-level job. Anything that you can use to get yourself a little bit above the next person would certainly be considered. Keep in mind, most of the time on these entry-level jobs in particular is that the technical interview is going to be really, really important. So they may not be terribly interested in your using labs as experience, but they would be interested in how your experience doing labs helps you get through a technical interview.
So yeah, Dave confirmed that CPU-Z is one of the suggested tools. It's not in the objectives.
Yeah, suggested.
Right.
Razer Titanium.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Mike, I've got a PC problem. I was wondering if you could help me with it, please. Razer, you're always welcome to put it in here, but if you want to, you can send me an email at michaelm@totalsem.com. Describe the problem. You are welcome to do that if you'd like. You can also join the Discord channel, and now obviously for a Discord channel, you're going to need a camera and a microphone and speakers. But that's also a good way to do it. Also, keep in mind, Razer, I'm not, especially like on the Discord channel, we got a lot of great techs who hang out here. I'm not alone on this. Oh, here it comes. So I've been getting a blue screen, and it's giving me a stop code called DPC Watchdog Violation. Woo! Scott?
Google it.
Yeah, Google. This is what I do when I get BSODs like that. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to type in DPC Watchdog Violation. I would just type that in into Google and see what pops up.
I don't know off the top of my head.
I'm pretty comfortable with a lot of stop codes, Razer. I do not know that one.
So it's 3 o'clock.
It's 3 o'clock already? All right. All right, so guys, let's go ahead and do a competition. Scott, give them the rules, buddy.
Okay. Competition. This competition is for 90 days for a set of CompTIA practice exam questions. Anything in our catalog goes, so A+, Network Plus, Security Plus. If you're already beyond those and want to play as well, go for it. So the first rule of the contest is they're not fair. We tried it. We do the best we can, but it's just the way it works. 2, Mike's going to show a question, and there are a set of multiple choice answers, and you need to write the answer, not just the answer letter, but the answer itself type it out. So it's on your typing speed here as well, in the chat. And the first right answer I see is the winner. And you're going to see your answer faster than I see your answer. So that's what I mean by it's not fair, because it's just like it depends on how far away you are, how many hops your router is from mine. And there we go. If you want to play and don't want to win, just type in your answer and dash pass.
They want to win, they just don't want to claim the prize.
Right, okay, right, exactly. Because a lot of people are competitive. We're all competitive here. Come on.
No, we're not. I'm more competitive than you are.
No way.
Let's race.
Wait.
All right, so the bottom line is, and these are multiple choice questions. Do not just type A, B, C, or D. Actually, have to write the answer out a little bit. Now, I've got an interesting question here. This is an A+ question that I think everybody who's going to read this is going to disagree with the right answer, but it's so indicative of a CompTIA-style question that I want to throw this out. You guys ready? So you literally type in your answer into the live chat. Here we go. Which feature is unique to laptops? Integrated audio and video. Guys, type the answer. If you think you know it, type it down. Don't wait. Integrated audio and video, laptop edition of Windows. I have the laptop edition of Windows on my computer.
Yeah, it's called Windows.
C is touchpad, and D is function keys. So I'm going to give everybody a minute to try to answer that one. Okay, we got a lot of answers. All right, Scoot. This is so much fun. Oh,
wait, no, go back.
Okay.
No, go back to this.
Wait, what? Careful. What did you do? Oh, I forgot about that new little feature. We have picture in a picture. Okay, so I'm pretty sure my answer to this would be a touchpad. All right, integrated audio and video. That's, you can find lots of desktops. You can find lots of handheld systems today that would do that, right?
Right.
Laptop edition of Windows. There's no such thing as a laptop edition of Windows.
Right.
Touchpad. Okay, lots of laptops have touchpads, but lots of laptops have function keys too. And Scott, why is D a bad answer?
Because desktops do too.
That's exactly right. That's all I was looking for there. So this is a really good. This is one of these questions that'll get you in trouble on the actual exam because, you know, other than a laptop version of Windows, which doesn't exist, I could make an argument for the other three, right? But, you know, what they're looking for is the one that's the most obvious. And that's why I like this question quite a bit. The answer is most certainly touchpad C. So, Scott, who do we have as a winner? Now, here's what you're going to get. We're competing for, you get 180 day
90 days.
90 day? Yeah. 90 day access to A+, Net Plus, or Security Plus practice questions at TotalSem.com. So the winner is Navy Bliss.
So that's a new winner.
Navy Bliss is a new person. So congratulations to you, Navy Bliss. Navy Bliss, in order to grab your prize, there's a few things you've got to do. First thing you've got to do is, how do I do this? There's too many buttons. There you go. So you send an email to Kathy Y at TotalSem.com. Don't panic about writing all this down. Scott Jernigan's going to put it on the chat as well. So it's Kathy Y, that's Kathy with a K, K-H-T-H, K-A-T-H-Y-Y at TotalSem.com. Now what you got to do is you got to put your YouTube name here. You got to put in Navy Bliss, okay? Otherwise you won't get anything. And then you got to tell Kathy which practice exam you wish to have. So send her an email and you will get all kinds of good stuff. How's that for excitement?
That was exciting. That was very exciting, Mike.
It is exciting.
Yeah. So
hey, these are technicians, man. Free stuff, nerds, and free stuff.
Nerds.
Nerds!
Where's Patricia when you need her?
I know.
Okay.
Where are we at, Killer?
We left off at... Jean.
Did he leave?
What he gets for cooking during the AMA. Yeah. Well,
hey,
but at least you get to eat.
You saute, you lose.
All right. Now I'm scrolling back up since we left
You were
off.
supposed to be on top of this.
I am on top
I gave
of
you
it.
one job, Scott Jernigan.
Okay, so 236. So we're going back in time now.
That Valio?
No. Oh, okay. Valyo Belev. How can I get your book for CompTIA A+?
www.amazon.com.
Right. So Amazon's not going to ship everywhere. So if you are someplace, the physical book can be difficult to get. The electronic book or the, I read it all the time,
Kindle.
the Kindle version is available anywhere in the world. So electronic might be the way to go.
I like the feel of a book in my hands, though.
I like the smell of
I love the smell. That
fresh
new book
print.
smell. It smells like
New books.
like victory.
CLW Chang at 236. A write blocker blocks changes to the drive, correct? If that's
Sure.
the case, how do you make a hash for forensics or does that need to be done prior to using a write blocker?
No, so a write blocker means you can't write onto the drive. So the first thing you do forensically, well, this is, when I worked for the Department of Justice, you would copy the entire drive. So the reason you'd have these interrupt 13 write blockers in there is because in a courtroom, you could say, I did not do anything to this drive. That's the big reason we have write blockers, is to protect yourself against defense attorneys more than anything else. But yeah, you can make a copy of everything and hash that or do whatever you want to with it. And that's what we do. And most of the time when you see forensics being done, especially in law enforcement, they take a bad guy's drive, they copy an image of it, and a lot of times they'll even leave it with the bad guy.
Right.
A lot of times a warrant doesn't allow them to stop a business. So it just depends on what the thing is. If children are involved, they're going to tear everything down, and it's not. They don't mess around in that particular area, and nor should they.
Right.
But if it's a white collar type crime of some sort, a lot of times they'll just make a copy of a VM.
Yep.
And then just let them keep running. We have a copy of what happened at the original time, so go and do whatever else you want to there.
So Extreme Crab at 239 is going for my A+ this August. So good luck.
Good luck.
Let us know how you do. Dave Rush. Oh yeah. So liking the stream, we don't make any money off this, right? Well, I don't. Wait a minute. We don't make any money off this, but when you like the stream, it promotes it on YouTube and helps other people who are looking for the content to find that content. So when Mike goes through his presentation today on
Load balancing.
we'll index the stream and say load balancing starts at 3:15 p.m. And people who are looking for load balancing can find it.
So the
more
bottom
readily.
line is, even though we're non-monetized on this, like and subscribe. It actually helps us with advertising and other types of tools like that.
Yep.
So go ahead and click that, like it. I always hate that. I watch a lot of YouTube. Sorry. Like and subscribe. Did you agree with everything that I've said here today?
Like and subscribe.
It's like,
So EMH is taking
number 12 will shock you.
EMH is taking the 1002 on June 14th. So
Plenty of time.
That's coming up.
Do it, EMH.
You can do this.
240 Catherine, thank you guys for doing these broadcasts. You're welcome.
Alliance or Horde? Come on.
Alliance, of course. So honestly, I've played plenty of Horde characters. The reason I don't want to play a Horde, Scott,
Why?
is because in Classic, it's a lot easier to get to your main travel hubs at lower levels. It's
That's
a real
true.
pain in the rear end. Now, in later versions, that's not true. But we're talking old school WoW Classic, you're really playing at a disadvantage playing Horde.
Well, that's why it's the challenge.
We'll see what other people want to do. Where are we at?
We are still chatting here. People
Let
people
them
not chatting amongst themselves, which is good because we were talking.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys. I'm going to let Scott spin up there a little bit. Let's go ahead and talk about load balancing. this is a pretty light touch on it, but it's certainly going to cover the type of questions you're going to be seeing on A+, Net+, Security+. I could always do more. You never know where to stop on something like this. But let's go ahead, and Scott, you keep digging up some questions for me.
Okay.
And let's go ahead and take a minute and talk about load balancing. All right, so when we talk about load balancing, let's make sure we're talking about what the problem is here. So here's a equipment rack here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a server on here. Now this server is going to be some big old high-end Dell server here, and it's got all these cool features. Look at all that RAM, Scott, 512 gigs of RAM.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it's got lots of hard drives in there. And the bottom line is this going to be running some kind of server? In this case, I'm going to be running Apache web server because I want it to be a web server. And I'm going to go out and I'm going to get it all configured. And I'm going to, let me get it all wired up here. So I'll wire the server into my switch. I'm going to run the switch up into my router. The router connects out to the internet, and go ahead and set up the DNS name. Let's pretend like I got Mike.com, which I don't have, and we checked it already. And in that case, we're up and running for business. Ta-da! I mean, that's really all there is. This is old school. This is how we used to do it, okay? Now, there's a problem here, though, folks. In these if I'm here, I got just a couple of systems that are accessing Mike.com. There's not any problem here. But if we get lots and lots of people all trying to access a single server, well, that server is just not going to be able to keep up. So we got a problem, okay? So to get past this problem, what we're going to do is I'm going to add, like in this case, I've added 3 more web servers that they're all having the exact same thing on them. But the problem we have with this now, so I have 4 different servers, how are we going to work with this, right? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with something called clustering. So clustering allows all of these different systems. So I got these 4 different systems to work together as one system. Now there's a lot of different ways to do this, but usually what we do is we end up, so here's a little bit of a zoom in on those 4 systems, and what we'll do is we'll wire them all together, and then we're going to take some type of clustering software. In fact, most of the clustering software, like in Linux, it's pretty much built in, but we take this clustering software and we have them run as one system, okay? Now, they each have their own IP address, but other than that, they're all running the exact same thing. And by doing that, we get 2 big advantages. Number 1, we have data synchronization. Like if somebody orders something, all the databases are updated or something like that. And then we also have failover protection. Previously, on that one server, if that server dies, we're in trouble. But with clustering, it can also set up as a failover where if one system dies, the other, in this case, 3 other systems can take over for it. All right, so that's great. Now that we got clustering, but what are we going to do now? All right, because as far as I can tell, I've got 4 systems that have 4 different IP addresses, and I've got people who want to get to www.mike.com. So how do we deal with this? Well, that's where load balancing comes into play. So load balancing is basically a device that takes incoming server requests and distributes them between multiple servers. So it could be a piece of hardware, it could be software, or it could even be in the cloud. So let me show you a couple examples. So this is a load balancer from a company called Temp Technologies, and this box only does one job. It does load balancing. It's designed to have 1 input or maybe 2 inputs to the outside world, and then it connects downstream to lots and lots of other devices.
So there, I put picture-in-picture up, by the way, so you can talk to them through the camera, too.
Well, I'm glad you told me picture-in-picture. I'll stop picking my nose or something.
Right?
Yipe. All right. Thanks, Scott.
You're welcome, Mike.
This is another example of a load balancer. In this case, this is
to do it.
this particular load balancing software. It's called loadbalancer.org, and in this particular case, it's run as a virtual machine.
Cool.
So you can either run this locally as a VM for yourself, or you can take the same VM and take it up to your cloud and run it there. But it's just software. Also, I'd like to add to that, like for example, Amazon has built-in load balancer support And you got to pay for it, not much.
Right.
But it's all built in and ready to go for you too. All right. Lots of configuration in there. All right. So we go ahead and we got the system set up. Let's go ahead and drop in our load balancer. We're going to plug the load balancer into the switch in this particular example, and then up to the router, and off it goes out to the internet.
Okay.
That's not the only way to set this up, by the way. For example, we could plug all of these switches directly into the load balancer as well if we wanted to. So it's just a matter of how you want to set it up for your system. All right. So let's talk about some of the aspects of what load balancing does. The old school way to do load balancing was called layer 4 load balancing, and it uses NAT, and it's older and still popular. Basically, we're talking about layer 4 is that your load balancer would have a single IP address, and everybody would poke onto that particular IP address, and whatever you could do with IP addresses, round robins, stuff like that, you could do this with a layer 4 load balancer. Today, we pretty much use exclusively layer 7 load balancing. Layer 7 load balancing, now in this case, I'm going to be talking about a web load balancer because you've got a bunch of web servers behind it, which is, you can do a lot with load balancing that goes outside of web servers, but most of the time we talk about load balancing, we tend to think about that type of stuff. So it's going to use HTTP/HTTPS, but because it runs at layer 7, it can actually read the HTTP or HTTPS information, and it can look at data type, it can look at cookies, it can look at different things. And the reason it's looking at all this is because it gives you more power in how you balance the loads, is really what it boils down to. So we can do things like SSL offloading. This is a big one, folks, and that is when you have secure websites, there is a pretty good chunk of workload just getting everything up and going, the
right.
secure web. So to put all that on the box, and the box actually handles the certificates and everything, it's physically on that box, and the individual servers don't have to deal with it. We can do content caching, so we can actually put, like we have a bunch of pictures and stuff that are static within the servers. I can go ahead and just put those on a dedicated picture system. I can put it within the load balancer itself. Everybody's got a different way to handle it, but the important thing is that we don't have to have individual web servers caching because the load balancer handles it. We can do SSL hardware acceleration. Now, SSL hardware acceleration is associated with SSL offloading. And basically what we're saying here with SSL hardware association is that not only can we offload it, but more importantly, we can put ASICs and things like that within the load balancer device itself, which will allow it to process, asymmetric encryption, things like that, much faster than your PC it can itself.
Okay.
And the last thing is that you have active versus passive. When we're talking about active versus passive, what we're talking about is you have more than one load balancer, okay? And you got to think about this for a little bit because, if you go to www.google.com, I assure you that's not one computer. It's hundreds of thousands of computers whose only job is to deal with you asking for www.google.com. Anyway, the bottom line is that we can have lots of load balancers on there that by having active load balancers, they can share the load. You can have one load balancer that passes stuff out to multiple load balancers, which then pass it out to other stuff. You can have computers, servers that are just doing the database while other servers are just doing the front end. It can get pretty hairy. But with active, what that means is that all the load balancers are working together. Whereas with passive is more like a backup. If we lose a load balancer, another load balancer kicks on. So this is in that high availability cluster kind of stuff you run into from time to time. I think that's all I got. Yeah, there we go. So, there it is, lad.
Excellent.
More than you'll ever be quizzed about on anything in CompTIA. That's the problem with load balancing. It's fascinating stuff, and it actually is. There's so many things we do in IT where you can't actually see what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Right.
But with load balancers, you really can. You can actually see them spreading the jobs out and stuff like that.
Yeah, like when I'm plugging stuff into my computer, I can't actually see what I'm doing. I'm doing it all by feel under my desk.
That's exactly what I was talking about, Scott. You nailed it. Super genius.
Super genius.
All right, what else you got for me, man?
So Captain SI, Captain C.
Captain C.
At 246.
Cinco. I don't know why I did that. And that little whiteboard in my brain that says, "Hey, Mike, this is funny."
Yeah.
Go ahead and fire that out there.
Yeah.
Tolowitz laughing.
Hilarious.
That's all I care about. Go ahead.
Hilarious,
go ahead,
Mike.
Go ahead.
So do you recommend pay for courses for CompTIA A+ or self-taught for a beginner? It depends. You want to answer it? You want me to?
You answer it.
Okay, so a lot depends on how much you're going to pay and your learning style. So for example, for me, having an active instructor is far superior to self-study because I'm lazy at self-study and I'd rather be playing games. But if I actually have to pay and go to class, I'm like, it's coming out of my pocket, so I'm going to be there in class and I'm going to get what I need out of it. And I get to ask questions, which when you're dealing, especially when you're new to tech, there's so much jargon that if the instructor is not careful, he or she or they is going to like throw out a phrase or a word that you're like, I don't know what that means.
He'll WYSIWYG your QWERTY
Yes.
all over your Ethernets.
Yes, exactly. And then if the instructor then just goes on, you can be like, hello, what language are you using? What did you just say? And be able to quiz them, which you can't necessarily do as easily with self-taught stuff. So the flip side of that, though, if you're motivated and disciplined, self-study is way less expensive. Hide it, Mike, hide it. Coffee stains
I pledge allegiance.
to my belly.
Hail Caesar.
And we were about to die, salute you. Yeah, okay. And more bad jokes. Yeah. So, Captain C.
Well, you don't think I could make it as a gladiator?
I think you'd be great, Mike.
What was the name of that thing the Romans had?
He signs my check.
That they scraped the olive oil off their bodies? Skytail? I'm serious. The Romans didn't use soap. They used olive oil to bathe in.
Well, don't you?
Well, yeah.
Somebody's really trying to get a hold of you, man.
People are always trying to get a hold of me.
Ignore them.
Now I put my watch back on, and now it's buzzing here too.
Ignore them.
I'm going to say, okay, Google, turn all this off.
So I'm not going to go there.
Don't go there.
I'll just say 246.
So, Captain C, the only thing else I would tell you is that some of these boot camps that you're talking about for pay can be extremely expensive. And I just, if you have a lot of money, I would go for it. The other thing that some schools, like here in the U.S., we have community colleges and stuff like that that provide programs that are inexpensive, but you're still paying, but they're inexpensive.
Right.
But then more importantly, they provide job placement, which is a really important part to all this.
Right.
And if you've got a program that provides job placement and it's not too outrageous, go for it.
Right.
But you can learn all this fairly easily on your own,
Right.
especially when you have groups like this.
So, and which also brings up Captain C asked a couple of times whether your videos cover enough information to be able to pass CompTIA A+. Don't answer yet. So in the one at 250, it was just do your videos. But a couple times later, it was more specific, do your YouTube videos cover enough?
No, the
Yeah,
YouTube
absolutely
videos
not.
YouTube videos don't. Although they might be getting pretty close after over a year of this.
But not in the kind of depth, not for
No,
A+.
the problem is it's not organized. It's the same thing like Professor Messer. I mean, all of his videos are on YouTube, but they're not in very good order because he wants to sell them to you.
He's
wants-
doing a lot better job.
Is he? Well, I haven't looked lately, but he wants your money because he needs to pay his rent like all of us do. But no, go to Udemy, go to LinkedIn, Lynda. They sell these very inexpensively. Sometimes
Yeah,
if you hit them at the right time, it's redonkulous.
Yeah, and for that matter, sometimes like public libraries will buy a subscription to LinkedIn Learning,
Yeah.
and you just go to the library, which you can often access online these days because hello, pandemic, and you can get access there fairly inexpensively or even free. So there are plenty of ways to get the training, but the YouTube videos are not it. Okay, I'll keep talking. Mike plays his main character in WoW, in case you're curious, was actually a human mage. So
Yeah, I'll probably keep being I'll be a DOT.
yeah.
More dots, more dots.
And Andrew and Michael confirmed that Microsoft does have an ARM-based version of Windows.
It does.
Yeah, already.
Okay, cool.
And
Thank you.
Has for a couple of years. And somebody else corrected me, saying there's already M1 iMacs, which is cool.
Look at these guys.
I know, right? And let's see, what else we got going here? Oh, and they even have an ARM laptop called the Surface 10. Nice. Edwin is one who corrected me on the iMac,
Okay.
having an M1 already, which is cool. So, Dave is absolutely right. April, either email Mike to follow up on the caching questions and the math. It's hard to do without being able to type and show things and have some prepared slides, for that matter, when you're dealing with math.
What are we talking about? Which one?
It's later on.
Okay.
So email Mike. He'll even put up his email information here shortly, in case you didn't get it to begin with.
There we go.
There we go. All right. So email Mike at michaelm@totalsim.com and give him some detailed questions, or get on the Discord after the AMA and ask questions on there. Lots of people, not just Mike and me and Dave, who will hop on there. Dave Rush, the senior instructor at Total Seminars, and he's hangs out on Discord a lot, more than me actually, and plenty of good techs who can answer detailed questions and are patient. So the live stream is just not quite conducive to this. Ken Sherman shows up here at 2:58. We meet again a year later. Yes. What's up? I'll ask the same question. Okay, so this kind of threw me a little bit. Where are your complete A+ Core series videos? So the A+ has been up for 2 years, right? We're on the 3rd year of that cycle on the A+ videos. And these are Mike's videos that he produced and starred in. And they are on multiple platforms. You can get them on totalsim.com. You can get them on Udemy, LinkedIn Learning, plenty of places.
Lots of other places.
Yeah. So the A+ videos have been done for a while. Right now we're working on...
They were done a year ago, too.
They were definitely done a year ago. Right now we're working on just finishing up the Security Plus 601 video series. That should be out almost now, if not yesterday. And we haven't started work on the Network Plus videos because we're just now writing the 8th edition of the book. So that's where our cycle is. Same thing with IT Fundamentals. We still have another year or year and a half before we redo that. But those videos are all out as well. So, what else we got? Oh, Alan Duggan. Hey, Mike and Scott, I'm finding it hard to get a job in IT, even though I got 3 months work experience last year. Any tips?
Alan, I got to be honest. Most of the time when I hear people can't find a job, especially in today's environment where if you could hold a conversation and have bilateral symmetry, you could easily get an IT job here in the Houston, Texas area. $17, $18 an hour to start is easy. I get worried when I hear people say I can't find a job. Most of the time when I hear that, it's because you are in a place that is far from work. If you were to say, I live in Houston, Texas and can't find a job, I would have a very different set of questions for you. Sometimes you got to go where the work is. That's my quick guess. But also you don't want to be too picky. The nice thing about IT jobs is that if you don't like them, just change it. Get to work and then, just take another job.
Yep. So Ken Sherman asks, Mike, where's your hat? So we just spent a year in lockdown, and Mike, this is Mike
Mike.
Hat, Matt.
Mike hat.
Mike Hat, Matt. His hats are down.
Glass. Cup. Glup.
Glove.
Oh, I can do this all day. Bring it. You do that TV show laugh. You do. That's a TV. You card. See, you did. You did. That's how he really laughs, people. I know he sounds it's all contrived, but that is an honest to God, genuine Scott Jernigan belly laugh. Come here, let me tickle you.
No.
But I want to touch you. I'm so
No. Oh, we got him to snort.
Come on, ask some questions. We have people who have serious issues
Things
here.
to do. Yeah, like Ken wants to know where your hat is. He left it down at the office, and we were locked out of our office for almost a year. We're just now getting
Still
back
down there. In fact, I
under 2 layers of dust.
Yeah, that's a mess.
So
But it's right there.
it's
It's 3:30, man.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going faster.
There, you have literally scrolled past questions.
No, I didn't. Those were not questions,
Go ahead.
right?
Okay.
Okay. And then we have the contest and all the million questions there or comments there.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm getting there. No deals this week for the A+ practice questions and simulations.
We have run into a real problem with offering deep discounts on practice questions, mainly because of a U.S. federal contract we have, and we want to keep everybody happy. We're continuing to try, but I don't see us doing any of the deep discounts anytime soon. It's a real challenge.
Yeah. Okay, I super scrolled, but you know, these things happen.
Yep, you can get it.
323, Tellowit. Mike just turned off all the lights in my house. Wow.
Okay, Google, play light jazz. I live for stuff like that.
Okay, we're almost there. Almost caught up.
Okay.
Because lots of people were chatting and asking about things like Jean Dorival. Can anyone recommend a good book stand holder? Use your hands.
My books all fit in here so nicely.
Yes, right? I have an entire library in mine.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, and then Patricia Grace is here. Hi, good to see you. And people saying thank you for the answers. That's great. You're welcome. What happened with Jake? Oh, Jake Black passed the 1001 earlier today. Cheers, Mike. Excellent. You're halfway there.
He's Jake. I'm Mike. You said
Cheers, Jake.
Jake Black.
Wow, I'm winging it on names today.
Enjoy your coffee.
Yeah. Okay, so 327. See, we are almost caught up. Or I super scrolled so badly that
Yeah, guys,
I just
there's
jumped everything.
Sometimes it's a little hard for us to catch a question. Guys, it looks like we're getting towards the end of the questions. If you have asked a question and we haven't answered it, you need to type it in right now. Please
Right.
type it right back in right now.
So-
Otherwise, we're going to wrap. But
So Jean asked why the Security Plus 601 book looks different than the All-in-One A Plus and All-in-One Network Plus. That's your answer.
Oh, well, no. What he's talking about is that, so McGraw-Hill already had an author for the All-in-One Security Plus book.
And we tried, but our publisher wouldn't let us steal the title from them.
We tried to steal the title from this person
We really
who
did.
deserves to have it stolen from them. Anyway, the bottom line is our Security Plus book is not part of the McGraw-Hill All-in-One series. It's kind of its own book.
Right.
And that's why it looks very different from the other books.
Nigel, stop it.
Yeah, let's ignore him.
Jean, you really found Network Plus easier than Security Plus. That's awesome.
I think for people who are genuinely into networking, Net Plus would be much easier than Security Plus.
Okay.
That'd be my thought.
Okay, so Captain C, one more question. There's plenty of time and space for more questions, so ask away.
There is. Sometimes Scott gets a little chatty, you know.
That's me,
Yeah.
Chatty Scotty.
That's him.
Anyway, the question is, I want to be in the cybersecurity area. Is A+ essential?
Probably not. In all honesty, if you can raise your right hand and promise to me, the A+ is handy. I mean, it's your first exposure to actual logs that you're going to see on Windows and Linux-based systems. It gives you a basic understanding of how the system works. It gives you an idea of how you get network connectivity from a single standalone system. But is it essential? No, it's not essential.
Apparently, you got Ken Sherman's phone to start playing light jazz. Good, well done, Mike.
Everybody loves light jazz. We are.
Shala Pirnia. I emailed questions to support@totalsim.com. You need to email them to Michael M.
No. Hang on. So,
Oh.
Shala, if over the weekend, they're probably just processing them today. If you don't have an answer by the end of the day or early tomorrow, you can send them to me. Do keep in mind, there's never a problem sending questions to me. Although our support people are usually faster at answering questions than I am. So you're always welcome to ask me questions directly via email, but it really depends what your question is. If you're sending a question to support, then that has something to do with your questions aren't working or something like that. Do we have trouble?
Go ahead, keep talking.
Then your question, usually want to send technical questions to me. If you're having a question like your test bank isn't working or I can't log in, those are the questions that go to support. And also do keep in mind that the Discord channel, which I will be on today, is also a good source for that kind of stuff as well. So the only downside of the Discord channel is you need a microphone and a headset and a camera preferably, but not required, not absolutely required.
So here's the question. Let me make it bigger.
We found your question.
Shala. Yeah.
Touch it with your finger. I don't see any questions.
Support actually was like, I don't know. Why don't you just ask Scott? So there we go. So the question is, and I'll read it to you so the rest of you can hear it. On the top of page 352, very advanced stateless firewalls from companies like Cisco or Juniper may have a few filters, don't call them ACLs, for their stateless firewalls, but those are outside the scope of the CompTIA Security Plus exam. Does it pertain to stateless or stateful?
Stateless. It says stateless.
It says stateless twice in there. Yeah.
Yeah, I now see your question. That has to do with stateless firewalls. It says stateless. Stateless. I love easy ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, easy questions are great. Line them up, Scott. Line them up.
Okay, so Nerf Oreos asks, does IPv6 not use NAT?
That is correct, Nerf Oreos. IPv6 does not use NAT. There are some transitionary things where you can support NAT, but it is ugly and terrible and awful. One of the great powers, one of the great beauties of IPv6 is that the concept of NAT simply doesn't exist. And yes, that means there's really no such thing as a true private IPv6 address. That every computer that has an IPv6 address is open to the internet without exception. And but good luck trying to get to it. So there is no real NAT under IPv6. Certainly in the most natural, perfect way to work.
So Ken Sherman asked, this is like one of the last questions in the feed, currently, well, actually there's a couple. And it's all about taking one cert and turning it into another. Can we still transfer Linux plus cert into an LPIC, or do we have to take them separately?
I don't know. That'd be a good thing to look into. Tell you what, can we dump this on Dave?
Sure.
Let's dump. Dave Rush, can you take a look at the old deal between LPIC and
CompTIA, Linux
and the
Plus.
CompTIA, if they still have that deal? Because there was another one that did that too. I forget what they are. I don't know. I haven't actually checked this in so long. I don't have an answer for you. So I'm going to have to.
Dave does. No is the answer.
No.
The deal is done. Relationship is dead.
Thank you for checking, Dave. That relationship is over.
That's great. He anticipated us not knowing the answer to that question.
CLW Chang, why do you say good luck trying to get to the IPv6 address? Because you can't, classically, if I'm doing reconnoitering on an internal network, I'm going to be using port scanning type tools and, just do a query. Like if I can find out that the network ID for my network is 192.168.4 dot something, it's fairly easy for me to get tools that say, go ahead and scan for 192.168.4.1 to 192.168.4.255. I mean, that's only 256 different numbers, right?
Right.
Well, the problem you run into is with IPv6, so what if you know that the network ID is 2001:1010:10AD2B? Because you still have 64 bits of addressing in there. So there are no scanning tools. The only thing you can do is watch for output data and then try to grab IP addresses on the source IP address side, which can be done. But you got to keep in mind, guys, I mean, one of the great things about IPv6 is we've just made our firewalls a little better. Stateless firewalls are now, I mean, it's hard to find a wireless, it's hard to find a router that doesn't have stateless firewalling in it anymore.
Right.
That wasn't true 10 years ago.
You use DHCPv6 for stateful addressing within your network. So now you know what all the addresses are.
There you go.
So, and Ken asked a follow-up question. Can you be grandfathered Google IT Support Technician certification when you possess an A+ and Network Plus cert? I'm hearing it's possible. I don't know.
I don't think so. Can we get Dave Rush to do this one too?
We could. We could ask Dave Rush to do this one. We have enough time.
Yeah, Ken, we're going to ask Dave Rush to do a little research on that. That might take a little bit longer because it's not a CompTIA cert. But Dave Rush, can you take a look and let us know about that one, please?
So in the meantime, we'll look at Jean Dorival's question on any advice on transitioning from a front office role into an IT role in the hotel industry. I'm looking to transfer into the IT department after completing my probationary period.
Well, I mean, anytime somebody has skills in one particular industry, and I've said this 1,000 times, and people are like, oh, I'm going to get in IT. I need to throw away everything I've learned over the last 3 years or 10 years or whatever years. That's absolutely wrong. John, you're doing the right thing. If you're in the hospitality business, moving into the IT of the hospitality business is absolutely fantastic. And your skill set and understanding the industry will really pay off in a big way. So I don't think it would be any problem. Is there a question there?
Go through.
Are you leaving us?
Yes, there's a big line of storms coming through, and I don't want to get stuck.
Well, come in
Okay.
and say hi to everybody real quick. Here's the guy who got all the hardware set up, Michael Smyer.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good job, Michael. Everybody loves the camera's
Yeah,
very pretty.
Glad everything's working well.
Don't trip over that.
Thank you so much.
And, there's a USB-C to
So
A.
where's the off button? I forgot.
Oh.
Just kidding.
I don't know. It's
No, don't push anything.
Is that it? Did I do good? Kidding.
Hey, guys.
Bye. All right.
Bye.
All right.
Yeah.
So we got CLW Chang answered there.
So we have
We're down to TJ Heckard.
TJ Heckard.
TJ, that's a name. Sounds like something out of a 1980s action sitcom.
Well, so I'm working on Security Plus
Those
right now.
hazard boys. I'm sorry.
I'm working on Sec Plus right now, and am really burnt out on the study and memorize, which is easy to do with Security Plus because it's a lot of concepts and rules and stuff that you just sort of like grind through. Any tips on hands-on stuff I can do.
Yeah, certainly start off with get a copy of Kali Linux and start playing with some of the tools in there. So many fun tools. Do some wireless. Is there trouble?
What?
Go ahead, Scott.
I can't. I'm wired in.
Give us a couple minutes here, Scott. Okay. So poor Michael was leaving everybody, and somebody's just hit his car. So we're about to wrap up, Michael. It's all cool. But yeah, really, playing with Kali is such an easy tool to play with. The other thing I'd recommend doing is start playing with log files on different operating systems. Everybody wants to talk about syslog, which is important and a great place to get some experience in. But don't forget good old event viewer and stuff like that in Windows. Just playing with logs, getting to understand what does a log look like? What does kind of information log files have? So that'd be just two areas that I would get into. And you don't have to create errors to get enough logs. Trust me, any system that's doing logs is going to have plenty of stuff for you.
Right. So EMH asked a question on whether we have any good resources for databases.
Sorry.
Or becoming a DBA.
Do not speak this language.
Yeah. Michael has a degree in database architecture, but it's an actual four-year college degree.
Yeah.
So.
Sean Darval, 601 video course on Udemy will be released this week? Probably. They're very, very, very close. It's funny, Michael, I didn't hear anybody hit you, bud.
I don't know.
TJ Heckard, there it is.
Yep. Santi has a question. Has anyone used the software LazeSoft?
I do not know. No, I do not. I do not. Sorry.
No SQL, which would be a database question.
Very much so.
Okay. Well, Captain C, thank you very much for the prompt. Mike does the AMAs every Monday and Wednesday at 2 to 4 p.m. Central Daylight Savings Time. Our senior instructor, Dave Rush, also does an AMA on Friday, same time, 2 to 4 p.m., right here on the Total Seminars channel. And so we're on. We tend to then go to Discord after the AMA and spend another series of time with you all. So yeah, 3 times a week.
Yep.
So the next one, we don't have a special. Do you have a special topic for next session?
No, we'll see what comes in on the emails. You never know what's going to happen.
So if somebody has some big thing that they want to have covered on Wednesday, the sooner you email it, the better, of course. And Michael put his contact information up before we leave, or he'll put it up right now because he can. So just contact Michael M at TotalSem.com and send him a detailed question. Or if we're on the Discord and you're like, hey, I want to know about this subject, that giving Mike at least a day to prep is good.
Yep.
So,
Mateo Rio, I am watching your A+. Can you ask some questions? That's what this is for. That's why we're here, Mateo, is for you to ask questions. That's it.
right. So ask questions, Mateo, because we're wrapping up here.
All right, well, guys, we are going to have to wrap up. We've had an automobile accident out front. We're going to deal with this.
So just to give you a little bit more information, that Friday, Dave Rush, Ask Me Anything, also known as Drama, is USB gadget mode on the go ports, which is an A+ objective. So
USB on the go is very interesting stuff.
it should be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shala will keep looking for your other email, but folks, we got to take off. I will be on that Discord channel in about 10 or 15 minutes. Other than that, if I missed a question, I apologize. We'll see you guys on Wednesday. It's 2 o'clock Central Daylight Time, and that's what we're here for. And I am looking forward to, who was it, Mateo? Mateo, come back on Wednesday and ask some questions, man. That's literally what this is all for. So, Scott, are we out of here, man?
We're out of here.
So here's the interesting question. How do we turn this off?
I think we do that.
Okay, I think it's going to turn part of it off. All right, folks, we're out of here. You have a great day, and we will talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Now we're going to do the awkward stare because we don't know actually how to do this.
Bye.